Lockdown has not been very kind to me. I spent a whole year mostly at home, and at my age, that's a mistake. Still, I live in a small village, so social distancing is easy, and now that spring is here, I can at least get out for some fresh air and exercise. It is probably easier to cope with the pandemic in a rural area like this, but that's not to say that it's left us completely unaffected. In fact, it has struck at the very heart of our community. This is where we normally have our annual Straw Bale Festival. That obviously had to be cancelled last year, and it's also been cancelled this year because while it's possible that the pandemic will be over before the summer is over, that's not soon enough for the organisers. And if one report I recently read is correct, then it's going to be cancelled next year as well. And who knows if it will ever return in its original form. Events like this are normally organised by local clubs, this one by a choral society, but the members of this society are getting older. This kind of thing is just not cool anymore, and so they are having real problems trying to attract new, younger members. They're hoping that they might be able to join forces with another club in order to continue the tradition. I have a hunch, though, that it might need to be updated. It's not an old tradition, it started in 1979, but it does involve a bunch of men voting for which woman they like best, which is something that these days might not be quite so easy to sell. But events like this are vitally important for the community, and rural communities are vitally important just in general. Our societies are becoming increasingly urbanized, but I don't see this as a good thing. I am not saying that we need to abolish cities and return to an agrarian society. That's what Pol Pot tried to do in Cambodia, and it was a disaster. No, I'm simply saying that we still need rural communities. Ah, you say, but with modern farming methods we don't need people to actually work on the land, so why should anybody have to live there? And to that I reply, modern farming methods are thought to be causing huge amounts of damage to the environment. Why, to pick just one example, are insect populations in decline? Because factory farming is killing them. Not only that, but factory farming and urbanization are thought to be major factors in the emergence and spread of deadly pandemics. Just to repeat myself and to make this point absolutely clear, the problem as I see it is not that we have cities. Cities are fine. I lived in Berlin for 10 years and it was great. The problem as I see it is an increasing attitude that urban life is cool, rural life is not. Well, I don't think that's true. Sure, there are a lot of advantages of living in a big city, but there are also a lot of disadvantages. For example, more pollution leading to more health issues, higher rates of crime, housing shortages, and so on and so forth. Out here, we can get locally sourced food that is pretty much guaranteed to be organic and considerably more environmentally sustainable. For example. Of course, a lot of work needs to be done. I suspect that part of the future for rural communities lies in digitization, allowing people to work remotely, for example, but in this country that needs a lot of improvement. I am currently on 6 megabits per second, although we are supposed to be getting proper broadband in the next 2 years. So at least that's on the way. On the other hand, I am living proof that you can even run a YouTube channel on really terrible internet, so maybe this isn't something that should be putting you off. But of course, here's the problem. As Germany is becoming increasingly urbanized, so rural communities are becoming sidelined. And this sidelining of rural communities is encouraging the urbanization of Germany. That is a cycle that we need to break somehow. And so if you agree with me, then, well, look, it's not my place to tell you what to do, but if we all just sit around waiting for somebody else to break the cycle never will be broken. So how about you? What kind of a place do you live in? Are you happy there? If you live in the city, would you consider a move to the country? If you live in the country, are you counting the days before you can leave? What changes do you think need to happen to save our rural communities? Or maybe you disagree with everything I've said. Don't be shy, write a comment. You know you want to.